All right, we've got an interesting guest on this. Sports journalist and media personality Emily Austin got to take in this dumpster fire live right there in the room. Take a listen to this.
Matter and guys is on.
I'm so edgy. It's guys. Oh my god.
Standing ovation for Ice Out. I'm gonna sit down. You should all be ashamed of yourself. We love America. I love our law enforcement.
Emily joins us now to talk about it. All right, so bring us into the room last night. What's it like to sit through something like that?
Personally, I love music. You know, I'm your typical Gen Zer with more brain cells than most people in my generation. So I just wanted to have a great time. And unfortunately, I could have anticipated people like Billie Eilish speaking up with the Ice Out pins. But I'll tell you something nobody's talking about. On my way to the red carpet, there were folks at the Grammys handing out Ice Out pins. Now, if you remember, Haley and Justin walked the red carpet wearing Ice Out. Yeah. And I thought to myself, that's bizarre, because they don't pretend to be educated on matters, and I don't think anyone instructed them to do this. Why would they do such a thing? And then to nobody's surprise, I find out that there was a coordinated effort in spreading this agenda throughout the event. So fortunately, most celebrities remained silent on the matter, but the few who did use the opportunity on stage to call for Ice being out have to be the biggest hypocrites in the game, because each and every single one of these people walked into the arena with 15-foot barricades and security, their own private hired security, living in multi-million-dollar mansions with gates. That doesn't sound like an open border to me. No. And then Miss Billie Eilish, who said no one is illegal on stolen land, has a restraining order for a gentleman who broke into her home. But you stole that land, so why not give it to this gentleman who broke in?
It doesn't make a lot of... I thought the same thing about Bieber and his girlfriend, because the girlfriend is the daughter of Stephen Baldwin, who's actually a friend of this network. I mean, he's a very conservative dad, is Haley Bieber's father. And but you know, in that moment, they're going to give you that pin. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, you're going to put this on. And if you don't, you're going to go on our little list. And you don't want to be on that list, because you might not get invited back. You might find yourself being removed from that little bubble that they've created there. And I think that's how they get everybody in there just clapping like seals, because you'd be terrified to go against the regime in Hollywood.
The regime is a great way to put it. Unfortunately, you just nailed it. Everyone in that room, they're sheep, and sheep follow more sheep. And there's no alpha there to really just take an initiative and say, you know what, I'm sorry, this is wrong. I can't tell you that one person who speaks about ICE from Hollywood actually has a single clue of what they're talking about. And if anything, to be completely honest with you, if I knew someone in there had some sort of a backbone and actually meant what they said, you know what? Difference of opinion. I know how to agree to disagree. But everyone in there was one sheep just following another. They were doing what they thought was cool at the time, because if they really cared about morals, they would have spoke about Iran. But you didn't see any of those women on stage speaking about the tens of thousands being killed because it didn't fit the agenda, and they weren't handing out free Iran pins.
Yeah, and because they'd be terrified to ever criticize Islam, because Islamic people are not white, and so they're victims. And so you can't criticize anything they do, even when it's an atrocity against their own people. You can't touch that. But you sure as hell can touch standard immigration enforcement in this country. Emily, thanks so much, and it was wild to see you got in that thing. We appreciate you coming on, though. Good to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, actor Kevin. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.